Hi everyone. So in the following video we'll talk about the settings we have for our blog page. Now as you may know, there are several options and several settings that you have to play around with and that you have to consider whenever creating a blog page. First of all, to create the following page you'll need to go over to Pages, click on Add New. You'll add your page title, and as you'll see here I titled it Test Blog Page. After that you have several options. You can select a page template and leave it at default page template, and activate the settings by going over to Settings, click on Reading, and over here within the Posts page, you'll select your blog post page that you want to have, and this will be Test Blog Page. And what this does is activates all of the settings located within the Flotheme area. If you leave this blank, just like that, and within the page template settings you select blog posts, over here what this does is activates these settings over here. So there are two ways and essentially two options of how you can create your blog page. If you go with the following option by going over to Settings and Reading, this has slightly more options and it is a little bit more flexible, but at the same time it has a lot more that you need to consider whenever you're customizing your page. So yeah, we'll just go over the very basics, and we'll start off by just talking about the following page template whenever you're creating simple blog posts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the standard options we have here. First of all, we have this field to add our text above and below our page title. Next off, we have the ability to add our slideshows, enable or disable the page title, enable, disable social media sharing, and then also enable or disable our widget area, which is located below the page content. So the following widget area is located within Widgets. If you go over to Appearance, click on Widgets. Here we have the following below page content sidebar. This is the widget that is shown within this area over here. So if we enable this just to yes, and let's go over to the Widgets area, and what we'll do is just drag and drop a text widget into this area, just like that. And what I'll do is simply copy and paste an image. There we go. I'll click on Save, and now let's go over here. We'll have this switch over to default page template for now, and then refresh the following page. Okay, and you'll see here that I've added the following image to our widget area, which is located below the page content. So anything you add within the content of this page in this area over here will appear above the following widget. So those are some options you need to know about. So next off, whenever you select your page template as blog posts, we have a number of settings that show up here. So let's just go through them real quick. First of all, you have the option of adding a decorative image. This is a standard option, so we can go ahead and do that. We'll just add this Eiffel Tower, click on Insert into Page, and it will be added above our page title. Next off, we have the option of selecting a page layout or sidebars. As you'll see here, by default, we have sidebars located to the right and left hand side. If you choose the right hand sidebar, we have an additional drop down come up whereby you can create or add a new sidebar. So currently we have only one sidebar that we're able to choose from, but once again, if you want to create new sidebars, we'll have a video on that, which is in the video description below that link to that video on how to manage your sidebars. So we'll just leave this at full width page. We will not disable any sidebars. Not enable any sidebars. Next off, we have the ability to select categories for a particular blog page. So let's say we are within our website and we have blog, and then we have a drop down over here, right? And it says, weddings, parties, corporate shoots, fun, etc., etc. We're able to categorize our blog pages accordingly. So we'll have our main blog page, which features every single blog post, and then we can also categorize our posts as well. And this is what you can do with the following blog post categories. You can select very specific categories that you want to display within this page. So if this was titled wedding shoots, we would have a category called wedding shoots as well, and blog posts related to this category will show up there So yeah, next off we have the following view type, and this essentially provides us with, we have 7 options here of various view types, and all of these view types have their own set of settings. So the first view type is this list view, standard option. What it does here is simply creates a list view, just like that. Let me just go ahead and we'll click on update over here. So we'll go back to our main blog page. We'll refresh this. Okay, so this is what our view type looks like. Our list view looks like. So this is what a standard blog page would look like. Next off, we have the following thumbnail settings, and these 4 settings, these 4 right over here, have identical settings. So first of all, we have the number of posts we want to add per our page, and so we can type that in here. So let's just say it'll be 9. Next off, we can select the gutter space. The gutter space is the gap in between these blog posts, that little white spacing. So we'll leave this by default at 30 pixels. Next off, we can select the number of columns we want to add. Now, because I'm creating 9 blog posts, I'll have 3 columns. And then enable or disable masonry, yes or no. That could be an option as well. We'll leave this at no. And then show pagination, yes or no as well. If we select no, then our blog page will simply end at 9 posts. If we enable yes, we're going to have previous and next pages. So we'll leave this at yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and update the following page. Once again, we'll go back to our main blog page and we'll refresh this. Okay, so here we have the following page, and this is what it looks like over here. So here we have this gutter space, which is at 30 pixels. Of course, that can be adjusted to a smaller gutter space if that would be required. And then once again, we'll have this widget at the bottom. So yeah, that widget can pretty much serve as a banner, and anything you want to add, you can add that over there. Let me just go ahead and disable this for now. Okay, so our next set of settings, and let me just do this real quick to make sure that we have these 2 have the same set of settings. Next off, this also has the same set of settings, and this one also has the same set of settings. So these 4, they're all the same, and then we have these 2, which also have their own number of settings to play around with. So let's take a look at this 50-50 view, and once again, we'll leave this at, let's go ahead and select 6 to have this as an even number. And select number of columns, we'll leave this at 1 actually. We'll leave this at 1 column, yeah. Use border for grid. Let's select yes, and then use pagination, yes. We'll click on update, and we'll go back here, refresh the following page. Okay, so here we have this 50-50 view. And what this means is literally we have 50% of the screen takes up the image, 50% of the screen takes up our blog post title. If we switch over to 2 columns over here, you'll see that it's slightly different, but it follows the same concept as well. There we go. So this is what this 50-50 view looks like with 2 columns. And then we have 6 posts, and then we have our pages, and you can flip through these pages as well. Alright, and finally, our next set of settings is dynamic columns. So we'll select this at 6, pagination yes, and we'll just click on update, refresh the following page. Okay, so yeah, this is essentially what everything looks like over here. So these are some options that you can play around with. I do encourage you that you play around with these settings, see which one fits and works best for you. But other than that, this is the entire set of settings we have within the actual page template. And next off, what we'll do is talk about the settings located within the flow theme area. Just right over here, once we activate our post page within this settings area.